Welcome to the end of season review. I am joined by Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV, Paul from the Redmen TV. Is it the Redmen TV? There you go. And Joshy, where have you come from?
My house.
From his house, Josh, from his house. Right, Bill Shankly once said, if you're first, you're first. If you're second, you're nothing. So we're all nothing on this sofa, which is pretty exciting.
I think some of us are more or less nothing than other clubs.
It's very George Orwell. Some are more equal than others. Yeah. So, who's had the worst season out of our three clubs? Paul, you think Liverpool? Point up.
You lot have had a terrible season. I mean, to be fair, 7th place for a massive club like Manchester United is an absolute disgrace. Yep. I think every United fan would admit that. As an Arsenal fan, I was surprised at how bad Manchester United were this season.
Couldn't have dreamt it, could we, Robbie? None of our wildest dreams, and trust me, I've had those dreams over the last quarter of a century. I
must admit, I did say right at the start of the season, I remember doing an interview which you was in, where I did say that I didn't think David Moyes would do well at Arsenal, would do well at Manchester United.
I think he'd do great at Arsenal. I think he would do wonderful things for you guys.
And I thought, I remember saying to you at the time that I thought that he'd get sacked and they'd probably bring Fergie back. And it turned out that way. He was just the wrong fit for Manchester United. He's too defensive, and I'd say out of all of us, you had the worst season because Liverpool challenged right till the end. We were challenging for most of the season, but Manchester United never really challenged, if you're being honest.
Top for 2 weeks. Don't know if you remember us smashing Swansea.
2 days, I think.
Yeah, double for 2 days. Same sort of thing, isn't it? Let's talk about Arsenal and Liverpool. Obviously, it's been a terrible season for Manchester United, but everybody knew this would be a difficult season. It's like the end of Sir Alex Ferguson, new manager who was obviously unproven. It didn't work out, but it was obviously going to be a tough season. Liverpool, on the one hand, obviously an incredible season in terms of what you achieved more recently, but could be argued, by the end of it, you should have won the league, and you didn't, and you might not get an opportunity this good for a few years. Arsenal, you could say, how long are we going to hear about development and young players, and do you know what? We'll be okay, and we will stop selling our players to our rivals. Are you not fed up of that now?
You trying to console yourself or something?
No.
Listen, it was Arsenal. We were challenging for a very long time. We were top of the league for a very long time, and if you look at it, the thing that really did for Arsenal were injuries. We did also make mistakes. We should have signed a striker right at the start of the season. But the thing that really did for us, Aaron Ramsey was absolutely on fire. Best player in the league, even better than Suarez at the time. Then he was out for like 4 or 5 months. Theo Walcott, top goal scorer for Arsenal last season. Most assists for Arsenal. Has been out since January. Out for the whole season. It's just a catalogue of injuries. Jack Wilshere, all our best players. Key players injured for long periods of time, and that's what really done for Arsenal. I think if we could have kept those players fit, I'm not going to say that we would have won the league. Excuse me, I'm not going to say that we would have won the league, but I honestly think that we would have been in there right at the end challenging. Even though we had those humiliating defeats to Liverpool and to, he's holding his hands up. We beat them, played them 3 times, beat them twice, by the way. But even though he's holding his hands up, even though we had those humiliating defeats to Chelsea and to Liverpool and sort of to Everton as well, if those guys had been fit, I actually think that we would have been in there right at the end and we would have had a better chance of winning it. So overall, we're still in the final of the FA Cup. I think it's been a good season for Arsenal.
Careful when you say that, because obviously people might watch this in a few days when you've lost.
That'll be the next hot vine, that'll be.
Yeah, I'll be the next vine, yeah.
Also, I mean, obviously you pointed out that Manchester United have had a terrible season, humiliating in many respects, and our worst season for who knows how many years, and still you couldn't beat us, could you? That's slightly awkward.
Paul, yeah, we did.
Liverpool.
Well, hold on. Just before you go off of that, we didn't beat you at your place. We lost 1-0. That was straight after a Champions League game, by the way, that we had to play you. So that is a little. I'm good with excuses. And at our place, I remember United came to our place and parked the 10 buses. I've never seen the United team so defensive. We didn't beat you, but listen, we're talking about a Premier League season, and over the course of a season, I think United.
We're terrible. We were terrible.
So what about Liverpool? Is there more regret that you didn't win the league than joy in what has been obviously a successful season?
Initially, yeah, on the final day of the season, you know, we've been building ourselves up to this, and yeah, we're disappointed, but we're nowhere near disappointed as people seem to think we should be, because you've got to have a certain level of perspective with Liverpool. You know, 4 years in the footballing world, and that's all we ever wanted from this season was to get back in the Champions League. We said at the start of the season, if we bat off a fourth and miss out on the last game of the season and finish fifth, most of us would have gone, fair play, it's another step in Liverpool's progression. To get as far as we did and get as close as we did, last game of the season, there would have been a replica Premier League trophy at Anfield. That represents the closest we've ever got to the Premier League, which will bring a smile to a lot of Man United fans' faces. Sure, fair play. You know, I'm here to entertain. But for us, that represents such a massive step forward that, okay, I'm devastated we didn't win it, but am I happy overall? Yeah, absolutely ecstatic, because Liverpool Football Club exists to be in that conversation, and it's been that long since we've been there that you can't be anything but happy that we're back to where we feel we belong.
I mean, that's a fair point, but at the same time, it was one of those seasons where it's kind of a perfect storm for you guys. City, Chelsea, United all changing managers, Tottenham with selling
Changing
Bale
managers.
and quite early on, and also bringing in like 10 players. The only thing is, to be honest, at the beginning of the season, I thought Arsenal would be the team that would come and capitalise on the way in which the other teams going through the season. I didn't expect
the best team with the
Liverpool
most stability at the top end of the table. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Well, actually, but if you look at it right at the start of the season, most of the pundits out there said that Arsenal wouldn't even get in the top four.
I'm not a pundit though.
Right, well I'm just saying, most of the so-called experts out there, in their predictions, did not have Arsenal in their top four. They said that Tottenham would finish above us. They praised Tottenham for the amount of money that they had spent, how they spent. Daniel Levy had done wonders with the Bale money. And so Arsenal...
To come fourth, you've made them look stupid.
No, it's not just a matter of coming fourth. We challenged this season, which is, I take Paul's point. Last season, we didn't challenge. We were nowhere near trying to win the league. I've told you, injuries.
Injuries.
I think the thing with Arsenal, though, is that, Arsenal should have capitalised more. I think the point is there on the change around at the top of the league. Arsene Wenger was the longest manager in situ with the squad. Injuries,
his plan is in place. He's taking it forward.
I had Man City. Man City were my tip from the start of the season because they had the best squad and the best resources available to them. And obviously Mourinho, you'd have expected him to come in and do it. But Arsenal looked in the strongest position to take that step up, to capitalise on Ferguson leaving.
We were doing well. If Liverpool had been playing and Suarez was out for 6 months and
he missed the first 6 games of the season.
6 games, right?
Why was that again, Paul? What happened?
You know, I mean, we saw even like teams like City when Aguero was out. You know how they dropped.
Yeah, but Robbie,
they dropped off.
But we had Daniel Sturridge ready to step in because
before
we were
this gets violent,
situation.
let's end this part. We'll carry on this debate in part 2. Make sure you watch it.
Patrice Evra's goal and the 22 seconds after that. Phenomenal.
Well, the 21 seconds. That 20 second was awful.
21 seconds ago.
After that, so it was. That was probably the absolute highlight.